Hello there, gamers everywhere. I'm Swip92, and I'm here to answer the question if Diablo 2 or Diablo and the world really has place for a Warlock class. Does it fit? Well, to answer that question, we're gonna have to go back in time. Well, the world of Sanctuary time at least, and see if we can find a Warlock in those old times. Yes, Diablo has a vast amount of lore, and well, the the things we're gonna talk about happened a few years before the events of the games. Now, of course, first of all, we need to see what makes a warlock a warlock. Now, I guess the demon summoning skill is an essential part of it. You could say, and of course the demon control skill. The chaos skills are very destructive, and pretty much every skill in that tree is a AoE, area of effect, damage, in a sense. And this also speaks to the historical origin of warlocks. We're gonna come to that later. But what is the historical warlock? Well, it all starts pretty much with a single person who was the first to summon a demon. And his name was Yere Harash, or somewhere along those lines. I'm gonna put the name on the screen and you can pronounce it however you want. Anyway, he was a Viserai sorcerer, which was one of the biggest mage clans at the time. And the Viserai had tried contacting spirits for a long time because they were convinced they existed, and Yere was the first one to actually contact them. Well, he contacted the burning hells by summoning a demon, but hey, one person's demon is one person's spirit, right? Yere managed to summon a demon when he was enraged after getting the news that his parents and sister had died in a short-lived feud with another mage clan. And this was in the year negative 1992 Anno Kechistani, which basically translates to 3,300 years before the story of Diablo 1, otherwise known as the Darkening of Tristram. So yeah, this was a while before Diablo and his brothers wreaked havoc on Sanctuary. Now, surprisingly, the Viserai did not immediately start summoning demons into the world, but after a while they did, and they thought that if they could control one demon, they could control others. So, demons were spawned by them for short periods. They summoned them and then they studied them and then they removed them, I guess. But why the short periods? Well, according to texts, they wanted knowledge from the creatures about the universe and new forms of magic, not to use them as weapon. Oh, how the times changed. It didn't take them long to actually see the benefits of having demons at your disposal. Even in short though, demonology, or the art of summoning and controlling demons, became outlawed by the other mage clans. But although this kind of rule became after Sanctuary, the world had been revealed to the burning hells and the high heavens because of demonology. So there's that little tidbit. Now, the Viserai did not abide by this law and continued to summon demons even at great peril, as not all mages who participated in a summoning ritual always walked away alive. You know, they can't always control the demon which they summon. So, oops. It was a real gamble. Now, when they were discovered by the other mage clans, those mage clans sent assassins to kill the top Viserai mages, which then escalated into a little more violence, and then a little more violence, and well, until the other mage clans stormed the Viserai main academy, because basically these mage clans were like schools. But yeah, The mage clan stormed the Viserai main academy, which left little to no Viserai mage alive. And, well, at the academy, that is, they existed elsewhere. But the academy was also reduced to rubble. And this happened in the capital of Visjun, or however you pronounce that name. But essentially, this storming of the academy was basically the real start of what was to be known as the Mage Clan Wars. And after this, the Viserai saw no other way out than using demons if they wanted to survive. And this worked very well against the other mage clans, and the Viserai pursued the other mage clans back to the capital of Visjun. But it's here that everything took a different turn, though. Now, two brothers created a rift among the Viserai that led to a civil war within the mage clan. These brothers were Bartok and Horazon. And for those who have played Diablo 2, I'm sure that the name Horazon is probably familiar, as he is the creator of Horazon's Sanctuary, which he created after war ended, and he had slain his brother Bartok in battle. And he created this sanctuary because, well, he wanted to be away from prying eyes of everyone, and that included the burning hells and high heavens. Now, the battle between Bartok and Horazon is described as being cataclysmic, and that's a quote from the Book of Cain. And that it also brought down the walls of Visjun. The city was basically leveled and leaving hundreds of thousands dead, it's believed. Now, after the war, the Viserai renounced summoning forever and even created the Visjaktar, however you pronounce that too. Basically assassins, whose mission was to hunt down any renegade Viserai or any other mages who tried summoning demons. And this is an interesting because this is an interesting fact because that makes the Warlock and the Assassin class bitter enemies. Even if the Warlock is using his abilities for good and trying to vanquish evil, you know. Now, after all that, yes, the Warlock is a good fit for the Diablo universe. The destructive nature of the Chaos Tree fits well with what was described in the battle between Horazon and Bartok, where everything around them was destroyed, much like the Apocalypse spell. Of course, the demon summoning is self-explanatory, with the rituals and all that, although you could argue that the Warlock makes it a bit too easy, as he can just hand-wave. He waves his hand and a demon is summoned. But, of course, that's more for gaming purposes. No one wants to watch their character sit down for 5 minutes and to write a circle on the ground with a pentagram and in blood and then do a bunch of chanting, you know. That would kind of kill the vibe and the pacing. Now, this also goes for, of course, the Triune sect that were the main antagonists of Diablo 3 in Act 1 and 2, who also summoned demons quite easily, or even turned themselves into demons. But, again, for gaming purposes. Now, you could wonder how the Eldritch tree fits into the Warlock, as well as the levitating weapon. Now, aside from looking cool and making a class stick out, it's also supported in the lore, to a point at least. Now, the Eldritch tree is basically, well, it supports your weapon. The weapon you have gets stronger and gets different kinds of benefits, like your life steal, mana steal, even a duplicate or mirroring effects, like it creates a shockwave behind the enemy you're hitting. Now, I haven't played the Eldritch tree, so I can't show you any real footage of it, but it is a very interesting tree. And the main thing about it is the levitating thing, and that you empower your weapon with it. Now, Bartok, the brother of Horazon that I mentioned earlier, he had his armored. his armor, like his body armor, empowered with a demonic sentience, or sentience, however you pronounce that word, and again. But you could wonder what that means, because those are in legends, but they're also a story about someone who took up the armor of Bartok and went on a rampage. So there's that a little bit. Now, Bartok was a powerful he was a very powerful mage and summoner. He summoned big demons that he couldn't control, and he just let them rampage. The problem was that they rampaged through both his forces and the enemy's forces. But if he could create a armor and empower it with demonic, a demonic spirit or something, I don't know what it could be, but it isn't too far of a stretch to think that you could empower your weapons with a sort of a demonic entity or demonic presence either. So that is a very interesting thing. Now, you could, in the Elder Tree, you can empower your weapon with many different aspects. So you could wonder what you draw upon to do that. But honestly, I don't know. I don't have a clear answer to the Eldritch Tree of the Warlock, but I do think that the Warlock fits well into the lore of Diablo. Now, the only issue, I guess, is that now that the Warlock is introduced into Diablo 2, he's never mentioned in the Book of Cain or any other sources, because, well, those books are old and he was just added. So that makes it a bit weird that he's there. It's like he came after the original 7 heroes had already struck down Bale. He just came there. I was like, oh, sorry, I'm late to the party. Anyway, I really like the Warlock. He's a good character and he plays really well. And I just respect him into a more of a only summoner focused character. And I'm having real fun of it. I'm looking forward to equipping him with a full set, a full build. Hopefully even being able to do some really cool stuff later on, like, I don't know, Uber, Lilith, or whatever. Yeah. That's it for this video. I've been Swipper92. Have a great life and hope to see you. Do you agree with me? Put it down in the comments. Bye bye.